Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's adventure is a somewhat kind of cold and dry day. It's not wet yet. It looks like it's going to rain, and I'm next to the ocean, so the fog is pushing in this way. Some of you may recognize this exact location. I camped here probably about 2 months ago in a massive overnight rainstorm, I believe. I think it rained overnight. Using the exact same rocks and a different tent, but same rocks, same style pitch, totally different shelter, and it is now in the fall. So that was 2 months ago back in the summer. The landscape is fire red right now. That's why I chose to come here. I've got a decent view at the ocean right now, but like I said, the fog is going to roll in and it may rain overnight, fingers crossed. So now that I've got the tent and everything situated, Boomer's tuckered up on top of my down jacket right now, getting warm and having a little bit of a rest. I'm going to get out some of my gear and get started on a hot coffee. All right, guys, got my cup of hot coffee on the go right now. Just chilling out on this rock, looking into kind of a foggy, misty, cloudy, fire red landscape, which is pretty awesome. The hills just kind of roll right up into this whitewashed sky right now. Hopefully later on we'll get some more fog, a little bit more depth and mood and attitude in the sky. But I gotta say, this red definitely makes things pop in this landscape. So I'm gonna chill out right now, enjoy my coffee, and I'll catch up with you guys in a few minutes. All right, guys, coffee's all finished up with, and it's actually a lot later in the day than I originally thought it was. The cold air is pushing in, the fog and the ceiling up top is starting to come down a little bit, so wind picking up. It's going to start getting damp out here. Probably only got about 2 more hours left of daylight, so I'm going to start getting some more gear unpacked and actually start cooking supper, because it's going to be dark soon, like I said, and it's a lot later than I thought it was. So that coffee break was way too long. I've already got things somewhat organized. Nothing's going to blow away in the wind, which is the important part. So in my backpack, I've got things kind of categorized into some food and some gear. So what I brought with me is some bread. I got this potato gnocchi kind of pasta. I'm going to be doing that with an Indian mix. And I also have some smoked salmon in here that I'm going to cook up, not crazy hot, but nice and warm for Boomer and I. And I've got all kinds of stuff in here, so haven't even unpacked. I've got my thermal pants that I always bring with me in cold weather. We'll toss that in the tent. I've got my really long, super thick socks. Toss those in there too. I've got my pedal light from Claris. Toss that in. And headlamp, all kinds of stuff, guys. So running behind the ball today. Taking in the scenery a little bit too long, so I want to get everything set up out here and start cooking up a nice hot meal. Alright guys, just finished up with supper, and Boomer had his dry dog kibble while we were eating there, and I also gave him a little bit of water, that potato water that I cooked off, with some of the salmon and some of the peppers. He loves that. I don't know why, but every time I eat that, he goes crazy for the water. So that's his little water dish. There's not a whole lot of water in this area. Sure, there is a lake way down in the distance, but the problem with this area is there's a lot of deep cracks and crevasses in this kind of glacial rock. So to walk down there, even though it looks like a short distance, it's actually farther than it looks. And honestly, I just don't feel like it's worth it. So I've spared a tiny bit of water in this pot. I've got just enough water for after giving Boomer a little bit. Got just enough left for coffee in the morning, and that is it. So right now, just mixing up a little bit of water in this pot to get most of this paneer sauce out of here. Dump it way over here on the side of this rock. And I brought some wet wipes with me, so I'm gonna do up my dishes with these wet wipes. The only dish that I really need to be clean, or that I would like to be clean, is this pot, because I need it for morning coffee. The frying pan, obviously Boomer had his face all in there, so that's going to be dirty until I get to an area with more water to clean it out. And the pot that I put all the salmon inside of, that's a little dirty as well. Not terrible, but there is some salmon in it, so I'd really like to get this cleaned up really nicely, and that way I'll have it for morning coffee and I don't have to worry about it this evening. It is supposed to get down to about 5 degrees Celsius later tonight, so I don't have to worry about anything freezing, but it's just nice to have all this stuff cleaned up. So I've got probably, I don't know, 7 wipes in here. I like to save a few for my face, my hands, any kind of dirt and grime from hiking before I crawl into my sleeping bag in the evening. So I'm going to try and just stick with the 3 to get all this cleaned up. But that gets my pot nice and clean. Fork and spoon clean that up, and I've got to say that meal was very, very good. So I had a couple pieces of baguette bread that I brought with me. I also have a bag of 2 tortilla wraps that I eat in the tent later on at night, just plain tortillas, and that'll be my snack for tonight when I'm hunkered inside of the tent watching a movie. And yeah, just enjoying some tent life. I also brought 1 can of a beer with me, and a couple other non-cookable foods I could see inside of the tent, like a chocolate chip cookie, a couple snack items. So that's basically it for cooking. I do have oatmeal for tomorrow. Now, like I said, I don't have enough water to cook it. So I'm going to be a toss-up between coffee and oatmeal, and honestly, I think you guys already know which one I'm going to be having, unless it rains tonight. If it does rain, I will pop these pots underneath of the vestibule so they could fill up, as I always do, and that'll be my bonus water. So for right now, I'm good to go for the morning time. That's dirty, that pan's dirty. These go inside of a Ziploc bag. Always bring Ziploc bags. Usually I put my coconut oil in here, like I did for cooking up the salmon, and then that dirty bag is basically my garbage bag that I hike out of here. So that's all, everything cleaned up. Time to get situated and start relaxing. Alright guys, so I've got everything situated inside of one side of the vestibule of this tent, doing a little bit of a spin around here. So while I've got a little bit of time, I'm just going to take this bit of daylight to go over some of the gear that I brought with me, because I always get asked this, and whenever I have the time, I always take advantage of it. So this tent is new. This is from Nortent. This is the Lie 1 person. It's a 1-person tent with 2 very large vestibules. The doors are actually different on either end. So as you guys can see, the other door is open the same as this side is. However, only on the other side, there is another zipper in the side. So if you want to open up one of these corner panels and peekaboo out the door, You could do that only on that side. These doors do also roll up, so if I want to unclip them and roll them all the way up, I can do that, or roll one side up, whatever configuration I feel like. The inner of this tent is fully removable, and it does have two very useful clotheslines inside for hanging wet gear. So having two very large vestibules in this tent is actually really useful, especially during wintertime when you have a lot of gear, because one vestibule is basically gear and or cooking, and the other can be used to enter the tent and exit the tent. So the tent is the Lie 1. My sleeping bag, I brought the Thermarest Parsec. This is a negative 18 degrees Celsius downfill bag. It is, trying to see here, 800 fill power down, and that is the long version. I always get a long version of a sleeping bag, even though I'm not extremely tall. I like to have that extra 8 to 10 inches in the foot box area. That way, if I want to scooch the sleeping bag up and migrate more down to my chest or my waist or my feet, I can do so. Getting a sleeping bag that fits your length is really not the smartest thing in my opinion. I like a little bit more room to trap more dead air space, which is how you stay warm in the night. And like I said, I can migrate the down wherever I need it to. I also sleep with my camera in my sleeping bag during the winter. So that's the sleeping bag. The sleeping pad that I brought with me, finally back in action, is the Thermarest NeoAir X-Therm. This is the X-Therm NXT. This is the wide and long version rectangle. Extremely comfortable and very warm. I believe the ASTM rating on this, the R value, is over 7. So it's incredibly warm and very packable. Jacket, I did bring my Outdoor Research down jacket, nice green on green. I did bring my North Face rain jacket, green on black, just because I think it's gonna rain. My backpack, I brought my Fjallraven Kev 52. This backpack is actually the matching pack to these pants. Fjallraven pants, Fjallraven backpack. This is the G1000 material that's actually waxable. Very nice. So it's super durable, extremely water resistant. Right now I haven't waxed it, but if I do wax it, it will basically be waterproof. I don't really need to because it has a pack cover. So if it does rain and I find myself, my gear's getting wet, I just throw the pack cover on. No problem. I brought the Trangia. I believe that is the Trangia 27. Don't quote me on that, but that is a Trangia, 2 pots, 1 pan, non-stick. My GSI titanium spoon and fork, my Near Zero Nalgene water bottle, my GSI coffee filter. I'm just looking at my my Fire Maple wooden cup, my coffee cup. Doing a once over. This I get asked about all the time. This is from Claris. This is the CL2. This is my light. So I use this, hang it up in the tent, for a lot of my photography and a ton of my filming. So that'll definitely be getting used later on this evening. My headlamp that I brought with me on this trip is a Nightcore headlamp. This is the HC65UHE. I love this thing. It has so many features, including red, which is absolutely important to me. All my lights have to have red. One, it lasts a lot longer. It's a subtle light, and it's great to leave on in the tent to illuminate it, even when you go to sleep. Wake up in the middle of the night, need to see something. My knife that I'm using right now is from BPS Knives. It's dirty right now, but I don't recall the name of it. It's actually really good. I mentioned it in another video, I'm just not sure where. And gloves, I brought my leather gloves. These are actually mechanics gloves. These are the multicam outside, nice leather palm. Very streamlined. It's not cold enough to use a big insulated glove, but these, I actually got a size smaller, so they're really tight on my hand, and the leather has ton of dexterity, plus I can grab hot things, the Trangia, all that stuff, operate a wood stove when I go hot tent camping, and things of that nature. So I'm actually going to hang these up inside the tent because I don't like them getting all bumped around, especially if it does get windy, things get scooped out underneath the skirt of the tent. And that's a bonus with these clotheslines up here, not only to dry out clothes, but to hang lights. So this tent, like I was saying, has a ton of door options. It is a non-freestanding tent. I have the 1-person, 2-person, and 3-person version of this tent. So far, I've only used the 1-person. I'll get around to using the other tents in different scenarios. But hopefully that covers all of the gear. Fjallraven toque, North Face shirt, Columbia Newton Ridge boots. I hope that clears up everything. Plus, I do have a separate bag that I've got to carry. I always keep it off camera. It is just camera gear. all camera gear, batteries, drones, you name it. This thing probably right now, probably about 20 pounds. Very, very heavy, and that's not counting the camera, microphone, battery, and tripod that I'm filming with right now. So, enough gear talk. That is everything on this adventure. I'm going to kick back and relax now. All right, guys, so just kind of chilling out, enjoying a bit of this fog. The fog has come in very, very thick, I will say that, and that's kind of a problem right now because I just lost my knife for the first time ever. I was bouncing around like a little jackrabbit taking photos, and I jumped over a rock, got the photo, realized my knife's missing. So before it gets too dark, I gotta find it because that is the only knife that I have with me. It's over here in the shrubbery. Get a light on there. Surely I'll be able to find it. But yeah, first time ever. All these years in the woods, never lost a tool, never lost a knife until now, running, trying to get a photo. So, back side of the tent, gotta get over there and find this quickly. Alright, so it jumped somewheres around here. So it's got to be right here. I don't know if the light's picking up, but there is a ton of moisture. Like I am essentially standing in a cloud right now. Maybe this light will pick it up, maybe it won't, but it is getting very moist out here. Tent doors got to get shut soon for sure. So it's got to be in here, in this tundra moss. Oh yes. I thought I just saw it right here, but that was a stick. I knew I saw something shine. It was the metal. Awesome. So, found the knife. No worries there. Let me explain how it fell out and what I'm going to have to do to fix that so it doesn't happen again. Okay, so found the knife. Everything is good, and yeah. So let me explain why that had happened. This knife falls in and out of this sheath very easily. It does have a leather punch and a little bit of a clasp, but it's actually too loose. So I'm gonna have to punch a new hole or put a snap on there to make this fit because it just literally slides in and out. It's never been a problem before, but jumping around, just the certain way of jumping and hopping around, it managed to fall out. Now on the fire steel, I have put a piece of shot cord on there to run over top of it, so it is impossible to lose that, which is more important to me than the knife because let's face it, I could strike a fire steel with a rock or another piece of my kit and it will work. Even a titanium spoon will spark this. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this, but it's very, very difficult. But you can get I mean, I can see it from where I am. They're so small, super, super small. It does chew up the titanium spoon, but the sparks are very, very small. It is possible. Aluminum will not work though. But rocks around here and other pieces of metal that I have in the kit can work. Tent pegs sometimes do work, but losing the knife, that can be a deal breaker, especially on a multi-day trip. Luckily, I'm only out here for the night and I did find it, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, it does slide in and out. It's just never fallen out like that. So now that it is almost pitch black, I guess it's time to kind of jump inside the tent. I do need to get this door shut, at least one of them, and get the mesh zip shut to keep the moisture from going on my sleeping bag, because it is like raining moisture right now. I know it's really hard to see. It is getting wet out here. So let's get some things shut and taken care of. Alright, well, crawling inside of the tent, I've got the back side door of the vestibule shut, and this front door, the wind's actually coming in. My sleeping bag, unfortunately, the outer side is damp. It is a down bag. It's not going to be a problem because I'm not going to be crawling inside of it right now. I do have a pair of base layer pants that I'm going to be changing into and some fresh long socks. So what I'm going to do, those are nice and dry by the way. So what I'm going to do is basically get nice and comfortable in here, open up the sleeping bag a little bit, or maybe just tuck it off to the back side. And I'm going to prop my boots here on my backpack, and I often prop my phone on my boots. That way I can watch pre-downloaded videos off of Netflix and enjoy a little bit of relaxed time. So I'm going to have to zip the bug net on the back side or the front side shut, whichever. The reason for that is, oddly enough, it is crazy warm for this time of October in Nova Scotia. There are still mosquitoes out. There's like 5 of them in the tent right now. It is going to get down very cold tonight, and over the next few nights it's actually supposed to go down to almost 0 degrees. Now last week, here's the kicker. I went out hot tenting in a camouflage tent. I forgot to mention in that video that when I got up the next morning, it was actually 0 degrees. There was frost, there was ice on the side of the lake, on the rocks, very, very little, but once that sun came up, it melted it all off. So we went from 0 degrees all the way up to 3 days in a row of 22 and 23 degrees Celsius. 0 to 23. So we're talking like fall, winter to midsummer. Absolutely ridiculous. So tonight is supposed to get back down to cold, and going forward the rest of this week, it's supposed to be cold. So I'm very excited about that, and that's the reason why I don't have a hot tent with me today, is because it's just too hot. My hot, 5 degrees Celsius is my hot. So hopefully in this particular area, being coastal, right on the side of the ocean, hopefully we'll get down to maybe 2, maybe 0 degrees. That would be awesome, because I've definitely got a warm setup to accommodate that. And it would be nice to, you know, not be so hot. So I'm going to get this back door, the bug net, zipped shut. You know what? I'm actually just going to do the whole panel. I'll do both the solid and the mesh panel. And the reason for that is I'm going to be facing this way. So this will block any cold draft coming in on my back, where I'm going to be out of the sleeping bag. And I don't know if you guys could pick up all those flies. There's a lot of mosquitoes. So I'll zip that shut. That'll keep the moist air off of my back. And I'm going to zip this bug net shut, as well as the outer door. So I'm going to shut that to cut all the moisture from coming in. And just because there are bugs out here, get this off. Boomer's going to be coming inside with me. He does have his tent slippers. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, he has a little pair of booties that he wears. They Velcro to his ankle. The reason why he's not allowed in the tent when I have expensive sleeping pads such as this one or expensive down bags is because his nails have been known to puncture very expensive sleeping pads. So he knows he's not allowed in until he gets his boots on, and those boots are in my backpack or in the camera bag, one of the two. So I've got to get those out, get those on his feet, get his jacket and sweater off, and get situated. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys tonight. It is too dark to go out and around. It's dangerous out there. I fell last time very badly, so I don't really want to push my luck with that. And like I said, it's moist, it's damp out there. My down jacket is a little moist. It'll dry out though. So that's all I've got for this evening. I'll catch up with you guys first thing in the morning for some hot coffee. Good night, guys. Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful, foggy, and wet morning out here. As you guys can see, the landscape is just dripping wet. The tent is totally soaked. That is because it rained last night, very, very late. A light rain into the morning, and then all this thick fog, which realistically is just a cloud of moisture, has just been pushing through here. So absolutely beautiful scenery today. I love seeing these little jack pines and spruces poking up through the fog off in the distance. Gives kind of like an eerie, almost Halloween feel, which we're coming up on Halloween very soon, so I think it's quite fitting. So this morning, you guys can see, down jacket on. It is cold out today. It's probably about 6 to 7 degrees Celsius. Not terribly cold, but it is noticeably damp and cool. I've got this cup of hot coffee, my last little bit of water, so I'm going to enjoy this, and then it's going to be a very quick pack up. The bonus of coming out camping, very lightweight like I did, is this tent's going to pack down very quickly. It's going to be wet, but it's going to pack down fast. And everything else, I got my down sleeping bag, my Neo Air X-Therm in there that'll pack down very quickly. And then it's basically the Trangia set, a cup, a bottle, very, very simple, small thing. So this pack up will go incredibly quick. The longest part, I think, for me is going to be getting all these guy lines bound back up into the tent, give the tent a good shake, tear it down, ball it up, and then dry it out when I get home. So cheers, guys, and good morning. Well, as you guys can see, Boomer found yet again another rock to perch on and keep an eye out. Very, very big and good guard dog here. His beard is soaking wet. You look like a wet Gandalf. Are you okay, sir? He just climbs the strangest things to get up higher. You know, he's got to be at that eye level. And yeah. All right, I'm gonna go pack up the tent. Cheers. Alright guys, just doing the pack up process right now. I like slaving my sleeping bag for the very end. I got feathers in my mouth. Save this to the very end because it does pack up very small for the main pack anyways. So just gonna run you guys through this very quickly because I always get that magician question of how do you get everything in and out of your pack. It's like I keep pulling rabbits out of hats. Well, this is how. Down sleeping bag, very compressible. So that's in there. I've got a pair of nasty, dirty, stinky socks. I'm just gonna wipe off the bottom of the Trangia with those. Place the Trangia on top of my sleeping bag. Nasty, dirty socks are gonna go outside of the bag, down on one of these little bottle carriers. And so then I can just kind of pick what I want in and what I want out. So my light, I'm gonna put that inside, jam that down by my sleeping bag. My headlamp, I'm also gonna put inside. Now the headlamp's very important because it gets very hot if it's on. So making sure that it's locked out. So when I'm walking, it won't accidentally turn on and burn or melt my sleeping bag or my tent, which, yes, it does happen. So that is locked out. Now I'm going to snap that shut. And basically what I've got left is my cup. I'll drop that down to my outer compartment. I've got a bottle that's going to go in the bottle carrier side. Down in there. I've got my bottle of methyl hydrate spirits for the alcohol stove. I'm going to jam that with the bottle today. I think I had this situated a little differently when I hiked out here, but I have a little bit less food, so more room. I've got my rain jacket, which I'm not going to wear. It's just going to work up too much of a sweat with that on. I've got my gloves. I'm going to jam those in there as well. Zip that. And that's it. I mean, yeah, my knife is on my hip. I've got my camera bag over behind a rock staying nice and dry, so my camera bag only houses camera gear. So that is it. So I'm gonna put the lid on the pack and give you guys a little bit of a spin around here. So you guys just saw real time everything inside the KED 52. So dirty socks on the outside, water bottle, methyl hydrate on the outside. The lid up here is totally empty. You guys saw the sleeping pad, the tent, and the sleeping bag go in there. The Trangia, the cup, spoon, and fork are also in the front. That's a fully loaded pack ready for the trail, guys. And that is coming in, I don't know, I want to say maybe 30, 35 pounds, something like that. And yeah, throw my down jacket on, or probably just jam it inside the top of the lid of the pack. And then hike out of here. So that's all I've got for you guys. Had a really great time. I'm going to get all this stuff together, hike out of here, and get the video out to you guys. So thank you very much for joining. Drop your comments and questions down below, and I'll see you in the next one.